Absolute modesty. Allama Tehrani said, Allama Tabatabai was our mentor. He was the model of modesty, a picture of humility, just like a Ma'soom. He was absolute modesty. Whenever I want to give an example, I say, if a person wants to know the Imams and understand what status they held, they have to look at such great figures who are representatives of the infallibles. Then they will know their position. Allama Tabatabai was a soulful man. For 40 years, no one ever saw him lean on a pillow in a gathering. Rather, he always sat politely a bit away from the wall in front of those who arrived. From the time we were students in Qom, when I would frequently visit his house, he never let us pray behind him in congregation. This disappointment always remained in our hearts, until this Sha'ban, the year 1401 Hijri, when he went to Mashhad and came to our house. He was there until Maghrib. I laid down a prayer mat for him and the person attending him on the trip. I left the room so he could begin to pray. I planned to later return to the room to join him in congregational prayers, because I knew if I stayed in the room, he would not lead the prayer. About 15 minutes passed from the adhan. I heard a voice. Allama's companion was calling for me. When I came in, he said, "He's been waiting for you to begin the prayer." I said, "I will pray behind you." Allama said, "You lead, and we will follow." I said, "I beg of you, go ahead and pray." He answered, "But I insist." I replied, "I have waited for 40 years for the chance to pray behind you. Please." He smiled kindly and said, "Then another year is nothing." I just couldn't find it in me to lead him in prayer, and he could see my embarrassment. He sat there firmly and could not be convinced. I finally thought that it would no longer be appropriate to defy him by going to another room and praying on my own. So I responded, "I am at your service. Your wish is my command." He then said, "It is not a command, it is rather a request." Thus I got up and prayed. After waiting for 40 years, not only did I never get to pray behind him, but I ended up falling into his trap. Only God knows that the humility in his face when he was making his request could make the gentlest breeze bashful, and its severity could melt the heart of a stone.